Above ground, the forest feels like a cathedral.
We have always known how to look up, at canopy, at sky, but the older story is written downward, all of it unseen, all of it connected, older than language.
A secret world hums.
The soil beneath a single old-growth forest holds more living organisms than there are stars visible in the night sky.
Roots stretch like veins. Fungi weave threads finer than hair. And insects march as if guided by maps we cannot read. The ground is alive. A city, a nervous system, memory.
And they are not strangers to each other. They know one another. They have always known. Long before field notes and taxonomy, Indigenous peoples held a different kind of catalogue. Not of species, of relationships.
And in some ways, it looks a lot like us. Roots aren't just anchors. They're lifelines. I know you went through this yesterday, so I am going to have a different pace on this one. Through them, trees send sugars, minerals, even water to their neighbors. A dying tree can funnel its last energy into the young, like a parent leaving an inheritance. Welcome to the series where roots, insects, and fungi reveal the secret networks of life. And why not talk about our elders, with the elders in our community?
Are insects messengers in the culture? Absolutely. There are stories from all over Indigenous territories about hummingbird.
In every ecosystem, there are creatures so small we barely see them.
For instance, hummingbird, the ladybug.
And yet, without them,
all kinds of moths.
Nothing holds.
Those are teachers.
But roots don't work alone. The soil is busy. Very busy.
Those are teachers. They've come with messages for us. Sometimes they come in dreams. We're taught to stay open to whatever the insight those small little insects are giving us. And so they're part of the circle of life, aren't they? They play a role. There it goes.
Meet the ants. On Vancouver Island alone, there are more than 50 species.
Consider the arrangement. A tree feeds an ant protects a tree. No contract signed. No agreement negotiated, just an ancient understanding.
They don't just live underground, they defend it.
What science is only beginning to measure, the forest has been practicing for 400 million years. We didn't invent the network. We just finally noticed it.
In exchange for food from trees, ants protect leaves from hungry caterpillars. In the Amazon, scientists discovered ants can reduce plant damage by up to 90%. BC forests show the same pattern.
The ant doesn't know it's solving a problem that human engineers will spend decades trying to crack. It is simply doing what it has always done, contributing to something larger than itself.
Ants are guardians, bodyguards, first responders. And their colonies?
The forest is a very important part of Indigenous culture and teachings, because there are trees in the forest that people have, they're called modified trees, because the ones that have asked that tree for some cedar bark, and there's a specific way of taking the bark off the tree that does not harm the tree. But that is where the basket makers, particularly the plant people who are using plants, roots, barks, you name it, for teas, healing teas, those trees are surviving in the deepest parts of the forest. And that's pretty special knowledge.
Ants build networks that rival our highways. Each tunnel a road, each chamber a city block. Traffic moves seamlessly. No traffic lights, no jams, just instinct and millions of years of practice. Funny thing is, our traffic engineers study ants to design smarter highways. Nature was here first.
No overseer directing the colony, and yet the system works.
Ever heard of ant colony optimization? It's not a Marvel spin-off. It's math based on ants. One ant finds food, leaves a trail, others follow. Pretty soon, boom, you've got the fastest route mapped. Scientists saw this and thought, wait, ants are basically tiny traffic engineers. Now, their logic helps design internet networks, airline routes, even logging roads.
The river feeds the bear. The bear feeds the forest. The forest feeds the river. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost. Only transformed. Remove one voice from the chorus, and the whole song changes. Remove enough, and there is no song at all.
Roots need air. Roots need nutrients. And that's where the other players come in. Termites, often hated, are engineers. They tunnel so deeply, they pull oxygen into the soil.
That is a whole teaching in itself about how you enter a forest. And if you're gathering plants or you're asking for barks or roots, you don't take everything, and you do it in the humble way. And so when we take that story of the cedar, we're looking at a deep story where the tree, that tree of life, that cedar tree, its roots are going very, very deep. And recently, there have been studies that have both Indigenous science to it and Western science, where for years, thousands of years really, Indigenous peoples knew the connection between the bears, spath, the bears, and salmon, and how all of that salmon runs and the bears bringing their salmon carcasses into the forest. And you can imagine after years and thousands of years, the soil is built up and those roots of the trees are going deep, deep, deep. Well, guess what? They found salmon DNA in those trees, salmon trees.
Beetles chew fallen logs into mulch, recycling what's dead into food for what's alive.
The mycorrhizal web doesn't care about the word mycorrhizal. The ant doesn't need a diagram of its own colony.
Earthworms mix and aerate the soil, making it fertile. Every so-called pest is actually a builder.
The earthworm doesn't read soil science. They simply live the way they have always lived.
And yes, I am a little diplomatic, I guess. Without them, the forest would collapse into silence.
And that's how an interchange of many, many things go into the strength of a forest. And metaphorically, if we look at that as people, many teachings go into that, don't they? You know, where we reach deep into being good people, to good human beings to walk on this earth. And remember, like the bears, you know, they're gifting something, the trees are gifting something. Let's be our own examples of how we share our gifts with each other.
Here's a story you probably didn't hear in school. The oldest insect ever found, a 400 million-year-old fossilized springtail discovered in Quebec. But here's the twist. Springtails survive because of roots. They eat fungi and recycle nutrients. So, do roots really talk? Do ants really plan? Do insects really help trees survive?
My hope is that there is lots of room for the expression of love. Love for each other, love for the land, love for how we can get along with each other. Love for the ways that we want to be as human beings, and tolerance for that in a good way. And raise my hands to the ones that aren't born yet. And that would be my wish.
The science says yes. The forest has been whispering the truth all along.
In reciprocity, in relation, in service to something larger than any one of them. The forest is not a collection of individual trees. It is one system, breathing, communicating, grieving, healing, across hundreds of kilometers, across thousands of years. And maybe the most radical thing science has offered us is the proof of what the oldest knowledge already held. We are not separate from this. We never were.
And the more we listen, the more we realize the underground city isn't theirs alone. It's ours too.